My child, take a deep, cleansing breath. Let it fill your lungs and then release it, for with that exhalation, you are letting go of an entire era of your life that is now concluded. I have not merely drawn near to you. I have stepped across the threshold of your present moment, and the very atmosphere around you is charged with my intention. A new dawn has not just broken on the horizon. It is shining directly upon you, illuminating a truth that is absolutely essential for the journey I have laid out before you. My presence, which you have so desperately sought in the quiet corners of your heart, now envelopes your reality, saturating your surroundings with the profound clarity you have yearned for, prayed for, and at times despaired of ever finding. You may not fully comprehend the magnitude of this shift just yet. You may still feel the echoes of the past, the muscle memory of struggle and disappointment. But understand this: the word I spoke over your existence, a creative and powerful decree uttered long before you were even formed, is now moving with unstoppable momentum. It is pushing past every barrier, every blockade, and every limitation that has ever stood in your way. There is no human voice, no council of doubt, no committee of critics that can silence the decree I have made concerning you. Their opinions are but whispers against the sound of a coming tidal wave. No power, whether seen or unseen, no force of opposition, no scheme of darkness, and no structure of human logic can prevent or postpone what I am bringing forth into your life today. I have entered your world, your timeline, your very circumstances, not as a passive observer watching from a distance. I have come to actively and systematically dismantle every single thing that has attempted to diminish you. I am here to take apart, brick by brick, the walls that were built to lessen your hope. I am here to nullify the verdicts that tried to shrink your ambition. I am here to override the conditions that sought to starve your needs. I am here to banish the anxieties that preyed upon your peace. My unseen hand, the very hand that spun galaxies into existence, is now meticulously reshaping the contours of your personal path. I am making the unthinkable a plain reality. I am making the impossible your new normal. What was a dead and is now a grand avenue. What was a mountain of impossibility is now level ground beneath your feet. This is not an ordinary time for you. This is not just another day, another week, or another year. It is the sacred pivot point. It is the divine hinge upon which your entire life now swings, moving away from the pain and frustration of what was, and into the magnificent, breathtaking reality of what I am now revealing for you and for you alone. You have waited. Oh, how you have waited. I saw the long nights where sleep would not come, where your heart ached with a longing so deep it felt like a physical wound. I heard your prayers, whispered with an earnestness born of desperation and faith. I was with you in the seasons of profound sorrow, when grief was your closest companion and you felt the sting of loss and abandonment. Now, I respond. My response is not a quiet suggestion or a distant hope. I respond with a sacred truth, a living and active reality that so far exceeds the grasp of human understanding that it will appear as pure miracle. I announce to you, with the full authority of my being, that a season of swift, undeniable, and breathtaking revelation is now beginning for your existence. The things that were delayed, the promises that seemed to tarry, are now catching up to your present moment with astonishing speed. What felt so distant, so far off on a future horizon you could barely imagine, is now being made startlingly clear and a present. The blessings that were held back, the breakthroughs that were contained, are now breaking through every dam, every barrier, every form of containment. This is a holy flood of my goodness, and it is directed squarely at you. I have not simply brought you good news. News is information about something that might happen. This is different. I have begun something you could not possibly have achieved on your own. I am not here as a distant spectator, applauding your efforts from the cheap seats of heaven. I am here as the one who holds absolute authority and sway over the impossible. I am the Lord of the breakthrough, the God of the sudden turn, the author of the story that ends in triumph. And I designate this very instant, this breath you're taking right now, as sacred. From this moment onward, my precious child, your life holds a distinct and undeniable purpose that will become increasingly evident. Each step you now take, even the ones that feel uncertain, finds its true and perfect bearing upon the path I have laid. Every single beat of your heart now begins to align and synchronize with the rhythm of my will for you. Do not think for a second that I asked for permission to enter your timeline. I set your timeline in motion from the beginning of all things. I wove the days of your life together before you had lived a single one of them. And I chose this precise, specific, and appointed moment to shift everything. Why now? Because I saw your soul had reached a state of preparation. I saw your spirit had become attentive, honed by the waiting, softened by the sorrow, and yet unbroken in its core of faith. And I saw that those who stood against you, the voices of doubt and the forces of hindrance, were entirely and completely unready for the magnitude of what I am about to unfold through your life. They grew comfortable in your quiet season. They assumed the stillness was permanent. They are not prepared for a demonstration of my power of this scale. The prolonged silence that has surrounded you is now lifted. My voice, which is the creative force of the universe, rings out. But this is not a general broadcast for all to hear. This is a personal call, a direct word for you alone, affirmed and guaranteed by my own authority. Do not dare to see the coming events as mere coincidence, as a lucky break, or as the natural turning of fortune's wheel. This is not luck. This is orchestration. This is the precise, divine joining of my eternal pledge to you and your steadfast, believing heart. In the havens, there is rejoicing, for a promise is coming to its fulfillment. On the earth, the world will soon bear witness to a change in your circumstances so profound, so complete, that only I could have orchestrated it. This is not a new trial. This is your vindication. This is not another test. This is your graduation. Simply pause and sense the change in the very air around you. The spiritual climate has shifted. What you once believed was forever postponed, lost to time and missed opportunity, has now arrived. It has not stumbled upon you by chance. It has been delivered by my direct, intentional hand in your life. The hours of deep, consuming sorrow, the times when hope felt like a dim, flickering candle in a hurricane, the painful, recurring thought that your one chance had come and gone, none of that was the conclusion of your story. It was the essential tension in the narrative before the release. It was the necessary prelude to the symphony I was composing. What you perceived as a fruitless, heavy weight, a burden you were carrying for nothing, was truly me preparing something so perfectly and exquisitely aligned with your unique purpose that your own thoughts, your wildest dreams, could not have conceived of it. Though you worried constantly that the moment had passed you by, I always intended this specific season, this exact time, for its glorious manifestation. I sent no intermediary for this task. I dispatched no lower-level angel. I came myself. I am here personally to ensure that this pledge would not only find you, but be placed directly and firmly into your grasp with absolute, undeniable certainty. This is not a gentle, meandering flow of blessing. This is a powerful, torrential rush of my goodness. I saw those moments when you looked at a promise and wondered in the secret place of your heart, is this truly for me? Could it really be mine? And I mock at each one of those moments of fragile, questioning faith. I will now show you, my beloved one, with overwhelming, irrefutable, and glorious proof that yes, it is for you. It was always for you. You are not an afterthought. You are not unseen. You are personally and specifically selected. You are not left behind. You are designated for glory. While others in their short-sightedness overlooked your value and potential, I was actively shaping your glorious future. While you sorrowed for what never came to pass, for the doors that closed and the dreams that died, I was bringing forth something far grander, far more beautiful, and far more fitting than your first hope. Now it has come. Not only what you wished for, but what I, in my infinite wisdom and love, knew you would require when all other supports seemed to falter. The reason for its specific timing was not my absence or neglect. It was my divine assurance. I waited until the perfect moment when no one else could lessen it, no one could alter it, no one could distort its purpose, and most importantly, no one could claim it as their own work. This blessing arrives with my signature upon it, clear for all to see. This is not an afterthought, not a consolation prize, not a delayed remnant of a lesser plan, and it is certainly not by chance. It is uniquely, divinely, and perfectly fashioned for you. You do not need to grasp the mechanics of how it will all unfold. Your responsibility is not to figure it out, but to receive it. It is already moving. The gears are already turning. Do not waste a single moment of your precious energy trying to explain this to those who doubted you or your journey. Simply let me reveal it through you. They will see with their own eyes what you once spoke of in quiet faith now unfold openly and powerfully in your life. For when I personally bring something forth, it does not arrive silently or timidly. It arrives with undeniable, world-altering force. This is the time when the very concept of the impossible fades from your reality. This is the season when events that seem random and disconnected suddenly align for your ultimate good. This is the hour when what seemed forever gone, lost to the past, now returns to you, restored and multiplied. The good news is not just drawing near on the horizon. It is here. It is now. And I have delivered it with power, with definite and unchangeable purpose, and with a compelling, breathtaking swiftness that is beyond all question or debate. You are standing at the very point of intersection where my divine, supernatural action becomes plainly and gloriously clear in your natural world. Do not merely wait by the door. Do not just peek through the window. Hasten to it. Fling it wide open. For the very thing you feared you would never see again, the dream you laid to rest, the hope you buried, is no longer absent. I stand directly with it, presenting it to you. Do not be misled or discouraged by the long season of quiet that was around you, my cherished child. Do not mistake my strategic silence for inaction. For while you sat in stillness, making unspoken pleas with the tears on your face, I was actively and ferociously working in unseen places. I was clearing paths you did not know were blocked. I was undoing complex deceptions that sought to declare your purpose out of reach. Your time of quiet was not empty, wasted space. You heard no sound because the powerful, foundational work being done was not for your hearing. It was for your ultimate victory. It was my declaration echoing in the unseen realm, a command that toppled spiritual fortresses. It was my voice reverberating through obstacles you never even knew were arrayed against you, and my power reclaiming ground that the darkness had arrogantly thought was its own. I never left you to languish in that stillness. I simply used that stillness to amplify the strength and glory of your final result. While your prayers seemed to bounce off the ceiling, unheard and unanswered, I was meticulously reshaping the very delay into a foundation for a deeper and more profound marvel. When you felt utterly by yourself, abandoned by everyone, My invisible and all-encompassing care enveloped you in ways you could not possibly grasp at the time. Even when you sensed nothing but an unnerving quiet, my sovereign influence was powerfully at work. I was clearing away hidden obstacles, redirecting the contrary intentions of others, and securing a lasting, unshakable victory specifically for you. Though you perceived no forward progress in your circumstances, I was always advancing your cause in the spiritual realm where all true victory is first won. My nearness was a constant reality that enveloped you, even in your deepest pits of sorrow, in your most frantic moments of doubt, and within the suffocating confines of your struggle. Each challenging period, every tear-filled night, every frustrating day bore the secret mark of my might. Each one was destined from the beginning to yield an overwhelming gladness. You were never, not for 1 second, solitary in those silent stretches of time. I was with you. I guarded you with the ferocity of a lion protecting its cub, my beloved child. Even when you could not sense me near, I was there. Now the time for secrets is over. I unveil what I have been arranging during your long seasons of sorrow. This is not merely a gift I am handing you. It is a full disclosure of my faithfulness. No stretch of that silent time was wasted. Not a single moment was for nothing. Every fleeting instant of your patient endurance was an offering, a seed planted in fertile ground that contributed toward this very moment of harvest. And now I move with the complete and unstoppable force of my will. I come not with a gentle suggestion, but with overwhelming power. I show myself not through a vague hint, but with undeniable, tangible proof. I offer you not more questions to ponder, but settled, final declarations. The divine plan for your success, for your fulfillment, for your joy, is no longer obscured by the fog of doubt and delay. It is unfolding before your very eyes, bit by bit, moment by moment, without interruption. My child, you must grasp this liberating truth. The quiet was not a punishment. It was a shelter. It was a holy incubator. I kept your coming triumph from being seen too soon by jealous eyes. I shielded your developing path from misleading and corrupting influences. I held your answers in a safe and sacred place, so that when I finally delivered them to you, no one could dare claim their origin was anything other than my own glorious light. That calm, often painful, period strengthened the muscles of your trust in ways that a life of ease never could have. Yet it never, ever meant I had departed. Every sigh of disappointment was met by my steady, loving attention. Each day you chose to hold firm, to trust me even when circumstances remained unchanged, became a spiritual force that I then used to overcome the difficulties ahead. The quiet season is now officially and definitively concluding. Why? Because I have completed the work that was hidden from your view. The foundation is laid. The path is cleared. The victory is secured. Therefore, prepare yourself, my beloved one. Prepare not just in your heart, but in your spirit, your mind, and even your physical body, for the sheer vastness of what is about to appear. The stillness was never your end. It was the sacred preparation for your swift and glorious rise. My actions are always purposeful. My silent times are never unproductive. My divine plans are never truly delayed. They are carefully set, fiercely protected, and absolutely certain to reach their full and magnificent expression. Today, your patient, tear-stained endurance has met its sacred answer, and the triumph that is now approaching will thunderously quiet every lie that ever claimed I was deaf to your pleas. This precise instant, this very moment in time, stands apart from all the moments that came before it. This is not due to the simple passing of days on a calendar, but because the heavens have given their definitive answer concerning you. Every single aspect of this present hour is mocked not by ordinary, mundane routine, but by a sacred, supernatural stirring. This stirring signals intense activity in areas of your life that were once closed, locked, and barred to your pleas. Understand this, my cherished child, this is no common day. The unfolding of this new passage in your life is happening with a velocity that will astonish you. This is not a discussion about what might happen in the distant future. It is a declaration about the perfect, appointed moment aligning with my eternal purpose for you right now. I have set a swift and divine pace, and absolutely nothing in heaven or on earth can hinder what is already being carried with divine speed toward your experience. I have considered every single plea you made in the solitude of your most private nights. I was there for the prayers you shared with no one, the ones you believed were too small, too selfish, or too audacious to even speak aloud. I was present for those cries that were so heavy with pain that you doubted even I, the God of the universe, had noticed them. But I did notice. I did not merely perceive them. I collected them as precious jewels. I did not simply hear them. I acted upon them. My response has not been one of mere delay. It has been one of strategic design, preparing a comprehensive freedom for you. You saw change being unaware that it would arrive on a day that seemed just like any other. Yet this day is set apart. This hour is awakened by my power. No more will you lie awake questioning if you were overlooked. No more will you pace your floors asking why things remain so frustratingly calm. Everything changed in the unseen realm the very instant I declared, "It is time." And my precious child, with all the love in my being, I declare it now. The shift has begun. The period of quiet is finished. The very air around you is now becoming thick and heavy with my answer. Obstacles that were once sources of fierce resistance are now transforming into gateways of welcome. Areas of your life that were once hermetically sealed off are now swinging open at the sound of my divine instruction. I ordered what was sealed to be opened. I prompted what was asleep to be stirred into action for your benefit. I declared what was lost to be found and returned to you. Your spoken thoughts, your whispered prayers have journeyed far, and they did not linger in some celestial waiting room. They arrived directly before my throne. They were observed, they were considered, they were esteemed as righteous, and now they are coming back to you. They are not returning in their original, humble form as mere requests. They are returning as fulfilled promises, overflowing with vast, supernatural increase. You are about to gain in ways you never thought to ask for. What you offered to me with a hesitant and trembling heart is coming back to you with undeniable power. What you considered a faint, feeble request became a strong, compelling call in my presence. What you believed had no effect has now fundamentally altered the spiritual balance in your favor. Your earnest appeals are not old, forgotten history. They are powerful, living forces in the spiritual realm. They are alive, and I am sending back active, living answers. Prepare yourself not just to bear the blessing, but to truly know and experience fulfillment on a level you have never known. This day holds a deep and sacred meaning. It carries something holy for you. Your destiny has been spoken for in the realms where the true course of lives is determined, and your earnest, heartfelt requests have merged with the unstoppable force of my divine intention. What approaches you now is not fragile, it is unstoppable. What is advancing toward you does not require your full and detailed understanding. It only requires your willing and open heart. This is not accidental. This is not delayed. This is set in place by me, perfectly timed for your life, and begun by the power of my own spirit. And I chose this exact moment because the timeless, eternal flow of my purpose has now met the point of your spirit's perfect preparedness. Observe the rapid, almost dizzying pace at which everything now begins to transform. The speed of change will be unfamiliar to you. The very air you breathe will feel distinct, charged with possibility. This is because it is. The solution you have been waiting for is already in motion, carried on the unstoppable force of my decree. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will hinder its swift and complete arrival. Not one of your prayers escaped my notice. The answers to your heartfelt longings, my child, are not arriving as separate, disconnected fragments. They are forming a connected, powerful current of blessing. What unfolds now is not a solitary answer to a single prayer, but a strong, cascading sequence of divine happenings. This is not a single offering to solve one problem. It is a complete and total release of my goodness, thoughtfully prepared and precisely targeted to reach every single place in your life where you felt lacking, where you yearned for more, or where you faced persistent difficulty. I collected every silent request, every whispered hope, every desperate tear, every instance of deep, costly trust you offered me, and I have woven them all together into one strong, cohesive statement of divine fulfillment. What appeared to you as a frustrating and confusing delay was, in reality, my precise and masterful ordering of all things for your good. When you sensed my distance, I was truly closer than your own breath, preparing each intricate detail of your deliverance. Today, I am setting into motion a chain of events that will not be delayed for a single instant longer. Do not search for isolated solutions anymore, my beloved child, for what I am providing you now is not fragmented. It is complete and holistic. I am placing something into your life that unites what felt scattered and apart, that corrects what was chronically amiss, and that enables what appeared permanently unattainable. The goodness I am sending will not need your guidance, your striving, or your permission to show itself. It will move with a strong, self-evident presence, carrying within its very essence a progress, divine quickening and overflowing, abundant increase. When I act, my child, I always bring what I start to its intended and glorious conclusion. What you are about to experience is more than a mere offering. It is undeniable evidence. It is evidence that I heard your every utterance, even the ones you could not form into words. It is evidence that your sincere, desperate pleas reached my very presence and moved my heart. It is evidence that I guarded your path with jealous love, even when you felt utterly unnoticed and forgotten by others. The rising intensity you feel in your spirit is not your imagination. It is the spiritual atmosphere shifting because something significant and of divine origin is forming. The sense of things shifting around you means its manifestation is very, very close. Now I am not simply returning to you what you requested. I am providing far more. You aim to mend a small, broken piece of your life. I have chosen to make all things new. You wish for ease from a persistent pain. I have chosen to bring full and complete restoration to your entire history. You asked for strength to get through one more day. I have chosen to fill you with a lasting, resilient fortitude for all the years ahead. My good provisions are not incomplete. They are finished, perfect, and whole. The feeling of new avenues and opportunities opening for you now is not accidental. It is my sign to you that the appointed time of favor has finally and fully come. Be ready for surprising delights, for unexpected marvels, for a series of my clear and joyful confirmations, one following right after the other. You are not merely stepping into one fresh chance, my cherished child. You are moving into a continuous succession of divine potentials. From this day onward, a fresh and powerful current begins to flow in your life, my beloved one. Answers will come to you without you having to chase them. pathways will fully reveal themselves as you take each step, and my goodness will stream forth without measure, without limit, and without ceasing. You do not need to strive for this. You do not need to prove your worth for this. This is not a wage gained by your striving. It is the glorious and unstoppable manifestation of my sovereign declaration over you. You honored me in your quiet, hidden ways. Now, I will honor you with loud, unmistakable evidence before the world. Be prepared, my child. Accept this with an open inner self and a heart filled with joyful expectation. For what begins today is my personal reply to you, filled with my very essence, guaranteed by my unchanging nature, and it absolutely cannot be stopped. What once felt like a permanent rejection, a verdict of no that cast a long gloom over your days, is now disappearing. I have personally exchanged every denial you have ever faced with a sacred, divine assurance that cannot be questioned or reversed. The pronouncements from others that hindered your path, the circumstances that held you captive in a cycle of disappointment, the silent, nagging uncertainties that claimed your dream would never be for you, all of them are now being silenced by the sheer force of my decree. Each time you encountered a blocked route, I took notice. Every opportunity that slipped through your fingers, I recorded. Every frustrating halt that caused your spirit to grieve, I saw. Every sharp rejection that brutally tested your trust in me, I made certain that none of these would have the final say in deciding your course. Now, I have sent out one single, resonant utterance from my throne that responds to all of them simultaneously. It is a divine resonance that no opposition can stand against. That resonance is my confirmation over you. It is not a soft, gentle consent, but a mighty, distinct proclamation that extends to every single area of your life where you have felt restricted, unseen, or diminished. This is not merely a partial breakthrough in one area. It is total and complete entry into the fullness I have planned. My confirmation is not limited to a single wish you had or a specific period of your life. It extends through every part of your existence, across all your God-given aims, even into the areas you had long ago written off and believed were permanently sealed shut. Grasp this life-altering truth, my beloved. I never required the consent of other people to begin the good work I set within you. I never sought the consensus of human viewpoints or paused for worldly arrangements to fall into place to determine when your true calling would finally appear. I waited for one thing and one thing only. I waited until you were fully prepared within your own spirit to receive and carry the complete measure of what I was about to unveil. That very moment has now arrived. The very groundwork of your past is shifting and moving, my child, because my living pledge to you is now progressing with divine force. Where others asserted you were not equipped, not ready, or not qualified, I now announce that you are truly and perfectly selected. Where circumstances made the conditions appear utterly unattainable, I now give the direct command, proceed. Where you were previously and painfully denied access, I am now bestowing upon you complete and favored inclusion. Nothing that has ever opposed you can endure or remain standing in the presence of what I have just initiated. You will no longer be the one chasing after pathways. Instead, favorable circumstances, divine appointments, and open doors are now being sovereignly guided to find you. The favor I am now releasing upon your life is more potent than any opposition, grander than any accusation, and more substantial than any delay you have ever endured. I am not merely acting for your benefit on the sidelines. I am actively reshaping the very arrangements and systems that presume to have the authority to refuse my desire for you. My confirmation does not require outside approval to be real. It shows its own reality. It opens what was shut tight. It restores what was stolen and lost. It settles what was previously and unjustly turned away. You will perceive this profound shift not only as a feeling within your inner being, but in the tangible circumstances of your everyday existence. Matters will begin to align in ways that defy human logic. Paths that were once arduous and challenging will abruptly become smooth and effortless. People and things that once held back your progress will now inexplicably assist you, without you even comprehending why. This is because my goodness, when released, reshape's everything in its vicinity. It pierces through stagnation like a bolt of lightning. It accelerates what felt sluggish and slow. It announces your arrival in locations and positions you never conceived of reaching. This is not solely about you gaining what you asked for, my beloved. It is about you receiving what I always purposed for you from before the foundation of the world. The rejections you encountered along the way were never your final conclusion. They were the necessary stillness that preceded a magnificent and resounding declaration. Today, that declaration resounds. My intention is to reveal you to the world in a new and glorious way. My child, no longer will you be seen as the one who merely came close, but as the very one whom I have positioned for undeniable, unstoppable progress. You will proceed with confidence into places where you were once disregarded. I do not operate by the world's typical standards. I am elevating you now without seeking the consent or permission from those who doubted your readiness or your calling. When I declare something, my beloved child, it is absolutely final. Have no fear or hesitation concerning this strong, new forward motion. Do not pause before the openings that are now becoming visible before you. This is the direct, tangible result of my voice breaking through every boundary, every wall, and every limitation that tried to hold you back. My validation has been established and granted, not only for your present situation, but for your intrinsic being. Your identity is not shaped by fickle human opinions or past failures. Your identity is shaped by the eternal purpose I have placed within you. Advance now, my child. Every form of opposition is now dissolving before you. A profound and irreversible shift is taking place in your surroundings. Before long, the world will witness the undeniable proof of my unwavering and powerful backing in the life of one who refused to stop trusting me. Even before others unfairly deemed you inadequate, before life's relentless challenges sought to draw you into the abyss of despair, before you sensed you were destined to be cast aside and forgotten, I was already there. My presence in those dark times was not one of passive observation, but of active, strategic intervention. I observed every single moment you were led to believe that you were missing something essential for your success. I was there every time it appeared your path would end in sadness and anticlimax rather than in victory and joy. I watched as your noble struggles left their mark of deep frustration on your efforts. I saw as the systems of this world implied, and sometimes shouted, that you should lower your expectations and settle for less. I saw as people you counted on moved away, leaving gaping voids where support and encouragement should have been. Still, even then, in the midst of it all, I held the very essence of your tomorrows in the palm of my hand. I would not allow that story of defeat to be the one you lived out. I would not permit your authentic, God-given self to be permanently defined by temporary hindrances or incomplete and frustrating outcomes. They tried to disregard your immense value, but I took their disregard and used it as a catalyst to rearrange your entire course. I did not simply adjust a few small points on your map. I cleared away entire segments of the old journey and started a fresh one for you, filled with my light and my purpose. I removed the crushing weight of anxiety that shadowed your every move. I erased the deep and painful impressions of feeling abandoned and alone. I quieted the insidious pronouncements of disgrace that sought to attach themselves to you and become your identity. Where others saw a definitive ending, I was busy designing a glorious new start. Where it was stated that you were too broken to be of any use, I confirmed you as fully and purposefully chosen. Where it was once claimed that there was nothing more to come for you, I have now established that this is only the very, very beginning. My precious child, it is absolutely crucial that you understand this profound truth. I have never been limited, hindered, or constrained by what others believed about you. Their opinions, no matter how loudly or confidently stated, never had the power to decide your ultimate condition. They could only grasp a small, surface-level part of your struggles. I, on the other hand, saw the complete, intricate design of your genuine purpose. And now, I have placed a distinct and visible sign upon your life. It is a sign that indicates not just mere perseverance, but a total and radical transformation. I did not merely acknowledge your feelings of disappointment. I did not just try to soften the effect of your pain. I stepped into the very center of it and replaced it completely. You are not simply the product of your difficulty. You are the living, breathing, visible demonstration of my intentional and masterful restoration. I took the very circumstances that were meant to declare your ultimate failure, and I have masterfully reshaped them into the foundation for your grand unveiling. I am raising you up from the humble, overlooked position where they expected you to remain forever, and I am molding it into a mark of profound distinction that you will carry with grace and authority into places they never, in their wildest dreams, imagined you would access. This is not a minor alteration to your life. It is a full and complete reversal of your circumstances, enacted by my sovereign power. I did not just repair a few small, broken elements. I reconstructed the whole basis of your situation. This is not an act for vengeance. It is an act for the sake of my fundamental, divine justice. My aim is not to lessen anyone else. My aim is to bring to glorious completion the intrinsic, divine blueprint that I placed within you from the very beginning of time. I have freed you from the vicious, repeated pattern that sought to persuade you that blessings were perpetually meant for everyone else but you. I have broken down the repetitive, cyclical patterns of events that always seem to lead to feelings of disheartening and almost, but not quite. The ending you once feared, the one that haunted your thoughts, has now become the very source of my power in your life. I have established a completely fresh and new segment for your journey. And this one holds no record of you being unsuitable or unworthy. This fresh period begins right now, saturated with my favor, with clear direction, with limitless supply. And every area where uncertainty and fear sought to take root within your spirit is now being infused with a profound, unshakable certainty that comes only from me. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you will no longer see what was missing. You will witness what I have brought back and made whole. A new and vibrant expectation will fill you, not stemming from your own efforts to be positive, but because I have ignited it like a holy fire deep inside you. This is the moment where those who have been watching you from the sidelines are drawn near, unable to grasp or explain what is happening. Yet I have always understood, and I have just set in motion a new season for you. The commands that are now active in your life are irresistible, and they carry the full weight of my power in every single detail. You see, I did not just hear your spoken words. I understood the language of your silent breaths, the grammar of your unspoken desires, the hidden aches of your spirit that you could not possibly articulate. I took them all in, and I transformed them into the very provision you needed. Now that provision is being delivered. I encourage you to prepare your belief, not for a small, hesitant trickle, but for a full, torrential, sacred outpouring. What is being delivered to you now includes deep healing for old, festering wounds, definitive answers for lingering, painful questions, and fresh, divine insight where there was once only confusion and fog. This is not a time focused on what you have endured as absence. It is a time focused on what is now arriving for you. I have not forgotten you, my cherished one. I have not misplaced the promise I made to you. I will personally ensure that what rightfully belongs to you arrives without any further hindrance. Look for signs, not out of a spirit of despair, but out of a spirit of joyful expectation, because what I have spoken is about to become gloriously apparent. Expect certainty, not from a place of doubt, but because I am a generous God who delights in providing for my child. Your existence has just been touched by a profound and irreversible favor from my realm, and its security cannot be breached by any earthly or spiritual force. What you have struggled with for such a long and wearying period has now been commanded to stop by my direct and sovereign power, and that decision, that verdict, cannot be undone. The constant underlying tension you have held inside your body, the quiet weight that followed your every idea and dream, the deep exhaustion from trying to move forward while still being burdened by the past, all of it ends right here, right now. The profound sorrow that stayed with you like a shadow through the long nights, and the persistent vagueness that clouded your mornings, have now met a definitive limit that I myself have set. I allowed that difficult period to unfold only for as long as it served its ultimate purpose for your growth and my glory. Now, I have brought it to a decisive and final close. You will not face that same struggle again. The cycle of repeated challenges, the feeling of taking one step forward and two steps back, has now ended for you. What lies ahead for you is not just less struggle. It is a complete and fundamental shift in the very nature of every situation that once opposed you. My will has fully and finally affirmed this new path for you. What I have prepared for you has already overcome every obstacle. It has been reviewed in the courts of heaven. It has been confirmed by my authority, and it has been given the clear and unambiguous command to move forward without pause. I have personally removed the frustrating delays that so often lessen your joy. I have navigated you around the treacherous diversions that sought to cause you to surrender. I have announced to all forces that stood in your way that their time has run out. I have made it clear to every upsetting and chaotic force that its aim against you is now utterly without effect. I have spoken to the unrest in your soul and in your circumstances, and I have ordered it to be calm. The challenging period that seemed as if it would go on forever is now concluding, not due to your increased striving or your own strength, but because I personally intervened and determined a positive and glorious outcome for you. Your moment of divine release was not missed, my beloved child. It was simply being fiercely protected by me. I needed to make absolutely certain that what was meant for you would come to you pure, whole, and completely untouched by anything that might weaken your faith or taint your testimony. I was not ignoring your cries. I was bringing your victory to its perfect and most glorious state. My child, the time has arrived. Everything is now perfectly and divinely aligned, and I am bringing about an outcome that no person, no demon, and no circumstance can stop. This is not a gentle, subtle emergence. This is a powerful, declarative statement. Its clear, visible sign will cause even those who do not know you or your story to pause and say, "Something truly fresh and miraculous has come to that person." I have done more than just open the prison that held you captive. I have taken away the very power that the prison had over you. You will not need to go back and try to recover what was lost in your past hardships, because I am making everything new. Your renewal is not a slow, painful repair, my precious child. It is a full and instantaneous beginning again. You will hold the deep wisdom you gained from the struggle, but you will be free from the lasting pain. You will speak of your journey, but you will do so without the visible scars of past damage. The heavy, oppressive burden that once weighed upon your shoulders and your spirit is now removed completely through my power. That profound weight is leaving you now, my child, for your time of struggle has officially ended. Your liberty to move forward is not waiting for a choice you have to make. It has been fully and freely given, and this progress will be clear to all who see you. It will show itself through a new boldness inside you, through a crystal clear insight in your decisions, and through the arrival of unexpected gifts in the most surprising of locations. I have not only shattered what confined you, I have also erased every sign that it was ever there. You are not going onward with the remaining shades of your past sorrow clinging to you. You are being renewed with a pure, holy outpouring directly from my throne room. What felt impossibly hard yesterday will soon feel remarkably effortless. Not because the tasks themselves have become easier, but because you have been made strong far beyond what any challenge ever tried to diminish in you. I have returned to you what you did not even know was gone. I have revived hopes and dreams that you believed were forever lost. Let this profound certainty sink deep into the very core of your being. I have already spoken for you in the ultimate place of judgment. The choice has been set. The verdict is in. You are no longer asked to struggle and fight for what is already yours by my own divine decree. I have never needed you to try out for my care. I have never required you to act a certain way to earn my favor. I have never asked you to climb the precarious routes of human approval, planned by those who could never truly understand the sacred treasure I have put inside your spirit. What is happening now in your life is not a result of your own effort or your outside connections. It is the divine uncovering of who you truly are in me. You are not a chance existence with a few hidden gifts. You are a planned and purposed being with a clear and glorious aim. The very instant you finally let go of the exhausting need to show your worth, my child, I began to make ready the place where only I would be the one to show the world who you really are. Not the person others thought you were. Not the one life tried to make you smaller than. But the one I always knew you were when I shaped you in secret. This is not the time to wear yourself out trying to gain what I have already set aside for you. Stop using up your precious spiritual and emotional energy trying to persuade others to trust in you or believe in your calling. I do not need their agreement. My acceptance of you is far greater and more powerful than every situation where you were left out, every word that was spoken to put you down, and every way of thinking that decided you were insufficient. I saw you trying so hard to fit in and perform in settings that never truly valued your unique spirit. I observed you extending yourself to the point of breaking, just to conform to stories and role that were never intended for your being. But now, I am taking away the heavy, soul-crushing weight of having to prove yourself. And I am putting in its place the calm, confident stillness of simply existing in my love. You do not need to chase after the spotlight, my child. I am the true radiance, and I have chosen to shine my light upon you. That which resides within you, the gift I have placed in you, is too sacred to be exchanged for mere human acclaim. What I have put inside you cannot be made smaller by the desperate want for broad approval. This is precisely why I permitted certain pathways to come to a complete end. It was not to cause you pain, but to preserve the integrity of the unveiling of your genuine and true self. You were not meant to grow by constantly measuring yourself against others. You were meant to flourish according to my careful and specific plan for you. My statement about your worth is not based on what you have done or accomplished. It is built upon the ultimate offering I made to free you. That by itself is completely and eternally enough. No charge from your past holds any sway here. No condemnation from any source can touch your spirit. I have personally quieted every single voice that tried to name you as unworthy. I have wiped away every untruth that stuck to your real nature. My confirmation has fully and irrevocably changed the past narrative. My child, you no longer await permission from anyone to embody the life I have called you to live. You are now entering the full, experiential understanding of what has already been made firm in the heavens. Stop striving to be seen, my child, for I have always known you. I have always seen you. I was present in your quietest, most private moments. I was there in your times of deepest, most agonizing struggle. I was in the silent questions of the night where you wondered, do you even notice me? And now I answer with all of heaven as my witness. Yes, I noticed. And I responded not with a glance, but by choosing you, by setting my affection upon you, by ordaining you for this very moment. You do not need to hide your past hurts or try to polish your story to make it more presentable. I am not using your flawless moments to bring about my glory. I am using your willing heart. I am using your radical willingness to trust me even when it made no sense. I did not choose you because everything in your life was perfectly arranged and tidy. I chose you because you brought me what was broken, and you trusted me to make it beautiful. What I have decided in the highest place of authority cannot be undone by any human being or any spiritual force. It is finished. The confirmation is set. My special and unique blessing is now active upon you, and your sole task now is to proceed forward with the calm, quiet assurance of one who is not striving to merit what has already been freely and lavishly bestowed. The long and exhausting struggle to prove your worth is finally and completely finished. I have called you my own, my cherished child, and that changes everything. Others may have closed their doors to you, turned their backs on you, and failed to see the incredible treasure I placed inside you. But now, I am drawing all eyes toward you, and those who once did not truly see you, who looked right through you, will now witness with their own eyes that I have chosen you. The very ones who left you feeling unseen and insignificant will now clearly observe the undeniable evidence of what I have given to your life. You are not stepping out in a frantic urgency, my beloved. You are moving forward precisely when I intend for you to move. This time is not about settling old scores or proving people wrong. It is about me making everything new in your life. I am bringing you into the plain sight of the world, not for the sake of empty human praise, but for my own divine and glorious reason. You do not need to be confirmed or validated by those who never truly understood the complexities of your heart or your journey. What I am now doing within you and through, you will speak more clearly and more loudly than any lingering silence from others. Every eye that once looked past you will now see you carrying a sign of favor, a mark of my presence that only I could give. You are not pushing your way forward into the spotlight. I have sovereignly created the very place for your unique task, a place that only you can fill. They tried to label you, to categorize you, to put you into a small, neat box that fit their limited understanding. Yet that which I established within you from birth cannot be contained, cannot be categorized, and certainly cannot be truly understood by those who lack my vision. The blessing on your life is not just for a private show. It is for clear, public evidence of my presence and my power. And now, I will begin to reveal what they firmly believed would never appear. I am pulling back the curtain on what was hidden, even from their sight. I am making you known, my child, not for the sake of a public spectacle, but for the fulfillment of your complete and God-given purpose. You have been made ready in the quiet. You have been made pure in the stillness. You have been prepared in the privacy of your relationship with me. My precious child, the moment has now come for me to show the world how I choose. Your being here, reading these words, is not by accident. It is by my clear and divine intention. I have carefully and meticulously prepared this path for you, guiding each of your steps in such a way that no one can possibly mistake my work in your life for mere good fortune or luck. Those who once spoke against you, who dismissed you, will now find that they cannot explain your sudden and remarkable progress without their support. You will not need to defend yourself. My actions on your behalf will speak more clearly and definitively than any words of accusation ever could. This is not about arrogance, my child. This is about showing my clear, unadulterated truth to a watching world. I do not measure value by human standing, by worldly success, or by what others think. I measure value by a heart that chooses to trust me against all odds. I watched you choose my way even when everything in your life and everyone around you told you to quit. I saw you keep moving forward, one painful step at a time, when others doubted your vision and your sanity. I heard your quiet, desperate prayers when your own voice felt unheard and powerless. I have remembered every hidden sacrifice, every unseen act of loyalty, every quiet moment of faith. Now, I bring all of it into the brilliant light of day. My child, you will be known for who you truly are, not for trying to get noticed. Your strength will come from simply existing in me, not from constant, wearying effort. You are different not because you have tried to blend in, but because I have made you wonderfully distinct. The very places and institutions that once closed their doors to you will now not only open them, but will welcome you into your rightful position. Not because you asked them to, but because I have decided it. Their limited human understanding could not grasp your rise, but my power does not rely on their limited insight. I am not raising you up to compete with others. I am placing you to finish a unique and beautiful work, one for which your spirit was specifically and perfectly made ready. What some dismissed as a brief, passing event will now be seen by all as a clear and sustained act of my divine will. And what I achieve through, you will set right every wrong idea that was spoken in error. This elevation will hold no trace of anger or bitterness. Your joy will be pure, completely untouched by the memory of old hurts. I have made your heart clear and clean, my beloved child, so that when I establish you, nothing from the past will lessen the glory of this moment. You will step into places they said you would never reach, and your presence will not be doubted or questioned. It will be confirmed by the clear, unmistakable sign of my favor that rests upon you. My child, watch what I am doing before the very eyes that once failed to see your immeasurable value. My purpose is not to show them their error, but to prove to all that my word always reaches its intended goal. My pledges to you were never forgotten. Each interval of time that elapsed without any outward visible alteration was not an indication of my oversight or neglect. It was a part of my careful, strategic plan, making sure that all I had prepared for you would meet you at the precise, perfect moment. You may have thought you were unseen, or that I had moved on past you to someone else. Yet what felt like quiet was actually me bringing distant events into perfect alignment. adjusting complex situations behind the scenes, and letting what was not yet complete in you and for you fully grow to maturity. I am never late, my child. I am always exact. What you perceived as a torturous delay was actually me holding everything in place for your protection and for your ultimate benefit. You were not being corrected or punished. You were being placed with divine intention. The long and difficult time of waiting was not a turning away from your trust, but a strengthening of your inner core. I have been building something deep inside of you that can now carry the full weight of the blessing I am now revealing. Had I moved when you first asked, you would have received only a small part of the blessing, and it would have been placed upon a weak and unprepared structure. However, my deep and abiding affection for you is far too great to permit your triumph to happen in a manner that would have ultimately overwhelmed and crushed you. And now, the waiting has fully served its divine purpose. What begins now is the glorious unfolding that was grown and nurtured by your steady, faithful following of my path. You stayed resolute, my child, even when abandoning the path seemed simpler and more logical. You maintained your trust, my child, even when all the evidence around you seemed to speak against it. You heard my gentle, guiding whisper in your spirit while others turned away from the stillness and sought noisy, worldly solutions. Now, I will make visible what you quietly nurtured in your heart, and I will do it in a way that leaves absolutely no room for doubt. I never overlooked your heartfelt pleas. Instead, I was meticulously ensuring the best possible result for you. My divine understanding saw what others missed. I knew the words of discouragement that would be spoken against you. I saw the hostile settings that could not yet sustain the great thing I had planned for you. Therefore, I kept it hidden. I shielded you. I held the entrance to your promise shut until everything in you and around you was perfectly and divinely aligned. I was not just making ready what was ahead of you. I was also preparing you, my precious one, for it. Now the path unfolds before you, not simply because enough time has passed, but because you are now fully and completely prepared. Every single action I take holds a clear and eternal aim. I did not stop your progress. I safeguarded my commitment to you. I did not delay your course. I maintained its true and pure nature. Perhaps you thought that my silence meant nothing was happening. Yet I was arranging the coming stages of your life far beyond your sight. Now that covering is being drawn back. This exact time starts now, not at some later date. This precise instant has been set in my timeless, eternal design since before the world began, and you are present within it. You are not late, my child. You are arriving precisely when you are meant to, for a sacred purpose that required this specific, tested version of you. The one who has waited with patience, the one who has matured in wisdom, the one who has let go of self-importance and embraced a full, humble reliance on me. The promise awaited this precise time when I knew you would receive it with peace, with grace, and with an open, grateful heart. Now the very air around you is changing for your benefit. The flow has reversed. What once opposed you will now yield to you. Where you once faced opposition and rejection, your proper, rightful standing will now be acknowledged. The words that once questioned your value will be quieted by the sheer evidence of what I am about to accomplish through you. I am not just bringing back what was taken from you, my child. I am increasing it, multiplying it, and restoring it beyond your wildest expectations. This is the time when what was unfairly removed from you will be given back in overflowing measure. You will not depart from this season of waiting with nothing. You will not come forth diminished or scarred. You will stand completely and gloriously renewed, and your presence will be a clear and shining testament to all. I am guiding the events of your life in a manner that will make it utterly undeniable to everyone that my hand of care has always been upon you. Do not grieve for what could have been in the past. Instead, find overwhelming joy in what is now revealing itself in your present. Your fresh start is not approaching on the distant horizon. It has already arrived. And in this new period of your life, no obstacle, no person, and no power can impede its divine progress. Not because you are without fault, my precious one, but because of your open, willing, and trusting spirit. You see, I do not select individuals as the world does. I do not choose based on outward status, impressive resumes, or what can be seen by the human eye. I choose based on a spirit that is ready and willing to serve my purposes. And you said yes. You agreed when it meant personal sacrifice. You agreed when no one was there to praise your work. You agreed even when it caused you great hardship and pain. And because of this beautiful, unwavering yes from your heart, I have decided to connect your being to a work of deep, eternal meaning that will not only radically change your own existence, but will also touch and transform the lives of others in ways you cannot yet foresee. My child, your attention to this message, your willingness to receive these words, has opened your heart to a living truth I have now firmly placed within you. As a seeker of my truth, you are now ready to walk this new path. Let this truth live and breathe in you, transforming every area of your life with my profound peace and my divine purpose. Carry this light forward, sharing it not just with your words, but with the very way you now live your life, becoming a beacon for others who are desperately seeking my voice in their own wilderness. Your support of my work in the world helps spread my message of hope and restoration to those in desperate need. Return to me often for deeper understanding, for I have so much more to reveal to you. My presence will be your constant guide, bringing you clarity when you are confused and certainty when you feel doubt. Receive the next message I have for you, for your destiny is now unfolding swiftly. My peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding, rests upon you as you step forward into the glorious new thing I am doing.